Hey everyone, I'm Aaron, the production carpenter, and today I'm going to show you how to build frameless cabinets with spare parts that you have on the job. Stay tuned, let's check it out.
Okay, the tools you're going to need for this job are miter saw, table saw, compressor. You're going to need a tape measure, a pencil. You may or may not need a knife. You're going to need a straight edge or levels, an impact, it's optional, drill, nail gun, speed square, and of course screws. These screws are 1 1/8 inches. The material I'm working with is 5/8 of an inch, so two of those together make 1 1/4 inches, and we don't want our screws to come through, so we use 1 1/8 inches. The material needed to build your cabinets is going to be either plywood or particle board panels, 5/8 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch thick. On this job, I took apart a pantry cabinet, and that's what I'll be building my two cabs out of.
So first thing we're going to want to do is cut the side panels for our cabinets.
Set the depth of your table saw to 24 inches and run your panel down. Then bring your panel over to the miter saw, measure to 34 5/8 and cut your panels accordingly. When cutting the height of the panels on your miter saw, you will need to flip the wood like I did here. Next, we're going to use the speed square to mark out the toe kick section of the side panel. This measurement is 4 5/8 inches up and 2 5/8 inches back. Remove the fence of your table saw to make it easier to cut this section out. Then carefully make your cuts down the line. Please keep your hand away from the blade and do not do this.
Now that we have our side panels cut, we're going to cut the bottom and the back of the cabinet.
This cabinet I'm building is 24 inches wide. I set my table saw to 22 3/4. This will fit between the two side panels, each 5/8, totaling the cabinet to 24 inches. You can make whatever width you need, 30, 36, just remember to subtract the thickness of your side panels first. After we cut the width of the bottom and the back, then we're going to cut the depth of the bottom panel and the height of the back panel. When assembling your cabinet later, the back will fit behind the bottom panel. So the bottom panel depth is 23 3/8 and the height of the back panel will be 30 inches. And all these dimensions could vary slightly depending on the thickness of the material that you are using.
Now that we've got the bottom and the back cut, we're going to cut the top rail and the back rail for the top as well.
These rails fit between your side panels and are 2 3/8 inches deep by the same width as your bottom and back panels of the cabinet, 22 3/4 in this case.
Next, we're going to cut some runners to put under the platform of our cabinet so we don't have to worry about our base falling.
Set your table saw to 1 1/4 inches. Make 3 rips at least 20 inches long. These will be used for your platform runners and your toe kick backing. After you get those cut, take them over to the miter saw where you're going to cut 2 lengths at 19 1/2. Those will be your platform runners. 2 at 4 1/2. These will be your toe kick backing, and 1 length at about 8 inches as this will be your center toe kick backer.
Now that we've got those, we're going to cut the toe kick section.
Set your table saw to 4 1/2 inches. Make 1 rip. This will be used as a backer for the actual toe kick that goes on at a later date. The dimension of this will be 22 3/4 in this case, which is the same as the bottom and the back of your cabinet. Now that you've done that, congratulate yourself on completing phase 1.
And now that we've got all of our parts cut, let's go ahead and put it together. I'm going to start with our two side panels side by side here. Use your first backer piece, put a line. Next backer piece, put a line. Gonna measure up the same distance as this here, which is 4 5/8. Do the same thing on the other side. And notice, make it even with this edge here and put it on your back line. Mark it. Grab your nail gun. Make sure you have your eye protection on. I'm only using 1-inch nails here so they don't go through. Make sure this backer piece does not go past the bottom of the panel here. Now we're going to put this just underneath our line. Do the same thing on the other side. I'd much rather do this in the shop on a table, but when you're on site, you got to make it work. This is what you do. Now, 3 simple screws. Make sure you have a countersink already set to the depth of your screw. Then 2 screws. A lot of people won't do this step, but I like to make sure our bottom is solid. Now don't sink these too deep. They will come out the other side of the cabinet. Now flip your panels over. Good, good. And we're going to put a light line here. So 4 5/8, our material is 5/8, so that is going to total out to be 5 1/4. So we're going to go right in the middle of that. Put 2 lines. And once again, use your level, straight edge, whatever you got. Put a very faint line here, something that can be erased. Now this doesn't particularly matter where it goes, but you're going to put 4 countersink holes here. It's kind of evenly spaced. Same thing on this side. Now we're going to put our first bottom piece on. Make sure this is even here. I want both front edges to be the exact same. Once you got those in, put your other panel up here. Once again, make sure both front edges are nice and even. And put these 4 screws in. Excellent. Grab one of your top rail pieces and countersink 2 holes. Now these smaller pieces made out of particle board, you actually need to pre-drill both of them. Otherwise they'll split. Top edge came out a little bit. So no worries, just countersink again. Nice and tight, nice and flush. Come over to the other side, same thing. And as you can see, it is starting to look like a cabinet now. Grab our back panel. Set it right on the little runners we have in the back. Very nice. A lot of holes here. And a countersink down each side. 1, 2, 3. 4. Bottom first, and the top. You can move this edge out, in or out a little bit. Should get it nice and tight, nice and flush. Now we'll do the same thing with the other side. Top screw. Top screw. Now, one last step on the back piece. We want to screw into our bottom panel. Three should be sufficient. Great. Now we're we're going to put on our last rail here. Goes at the back. Nice and snug. I love it. And more countersinking. 2 here. Three in the back. And 2 here. Make sure you screw off your sides first. Then your back. Now we'll lay the box down. Here's your straight edge. Put you a little line right in the middle. You're gonna take this piece, set it up here. Good 5/8, mark the back side of it. And now you know where that goes. Countersink 2 holes. And placement doesn't really matter here. This is just a backer to hold on your toe kick. And I told you not to go through with the screw, and look at me, I just did it. Fortunately, this is a trash can cabinet, and the hardware inside will cover it. Let's go ahead and redo that hole. Too deep. And final step, putting on your toe kick piece in the front. You guessed it, more countersinking. You could actually just nail this on. That would be sufficient. 2 on each side. And then 1 in the middle. And that's it. The box is built. Both boxes here that are built still need to be edge banded. We still need the guts. This is a trash can cab. This is a sink-based cab. So we need the doors and the false front here. We need the rollouts for the trash cans here. But that's not what this video is about. It's how to build a cabinet. Join us next time when I show you how to edge band the fast way.
Hey carpenters, it takes a lot of work to make these videos and I really appreciate you watching. So if you could do me a favor and drill that like button and hammer that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks again.